Hello, everyone. I'm Serkan Bırakkaçoğlu, as you can see. I am a linguist, a teacher, a translator, and everything else related with language. That's what I do. Now, today, I want to talk about the difficulties we have, as Turks, learning English. I believe there are some problems in our learning. I'm not talking about our education system or the English. We have some other problems on our own, like in our language. Now, first of all, I'm going to talk about the facts. Are we really bad at learning English? Is it really a problem? Do we really have difficulties? And then I will look over the issues, the problems we have. So what are the problems? Why do we have those difficulties? After that, I will talk about the solution. What can we do to prevent those problems? How can we solve them? And finally, there will be a Q&A and feedback session. So please take your notes while you listen and ask your questions at the end of the presentation. Now, without further ado, let's begin. So first of all, let's look over some facts. This is the world ranking. And as Turkey, we currently ranked at 51 in English proficiency, English skills. So as you can see, this is not good. We're at 51. And as for European ranking, we are ranked at 25 out of 26 countries. There is only one more country worse than us, and that's Azerbaijan. So this clearly shows we have some problem. Like when it comes to English skills, like speaking English, we are not very good. And this chart is from Education First, which is a global company which assess English proficiency over the world on yearly basis. So this is 2016. So, yes, we do have a problem. But I will only look into in the terms of language use. Yes, we might have problems in our education system, our thoughts for English, like our opinion about English, but we have some other problems, like Turkish plays a huge role in this. How? Look at these sentences. We have 8 sentences written in Turkish. Are they correct? Is there anything wrong here? No? Yes, these are all correct and used in spoken Turkish on a daily basis. So let's say I'm a student and I am learning English. I am at starter or elementary level. I know the verbs, I learned the word order, the sentence structure of English, and I want to translate it. So I do my best to translate it to English as a Turkish speaker, and this is the result. Is it correct? No, none of them are correct. The reason is the verb to be. We don't use the verb to be in Turkish. So we don't use it in our language, we don't use it in the target language, in English. The most common argument against this is we don't have to be verb in Turkish. But actually that's not true. We have to be verb in English, emizar. We have that. I will show you. This is emizar in Turkish. The suffixes you see in green is emizar. We have it, but we don't use it. We sometimes use it, we sometimes don't. And when we don't, and when we translate, we can't. But if we do, there's the result. So one of the problems is that we don't use it. If we do, there is no problem. So let's look over one more example. By the way, this is the grammar reference of to be. So if you want to Google it or open up a book, you can see our rules. We clearly have verb to be, but we don't use it. So I'm not going to stay on this slide forever. It's just a reference. I'm just going to move on. Now, let's look over these examples. The verb to do or to make, which is yapmak in Turkish. So, these sentences, are those correct? The left ones, the Turkish ones. Do you use them? Do you use those sentences? I believe so. I used them yesterday, probably. But look at the translation now. That's how we speak, actually. That's what we say in English. So as I said, I know English, I know the verbs, I want to translate. And if I do, this is the result. So what should I do? I should use proper verbs instead of yapmak. As you can see in green again, there are lots of verbs in Turkish means different things or correlates to different meanings in English. But again, we don't use it. We only say yapmak in Turkish and use it everywhere. So, in English, there are 100 meanings of yapmak. So, this isn't correct. This shouldn't be, correct. This shouldn't be right. Approximately 100 meaning means I can say everything with yapmak and I can't translate it. I think probably we will have the same difficulty in other languages, not English. English is just a prime example. I believe if we were to learn another language, like Portuguese or Korean or Chinese, we will have the same difficulties. I will just provide one more example, just to make a reference for future studies. Present continuous tense. So, in Turkish, we use present continuous tense everywhere, in every sentence, in every expression, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. Let's say, in English, we say, I know English. Nothing wrong with it. But if I want to say the same thing in Turkish, I would say, İngilizce biliyorum, which translates into, I am knowing English. Right? But we do have simple tense, present simple tense. We have it. We can say İngilizce bilirim, and there is no problem. But we don't use it. So when we try to translate, when we try to speak English, the problems of our language affects our learning process. So it's not about education system, or it's not about English being so hard. Actually, it is not. Our language is kind of broken right now. Why? This is the problem. Oversimplification of Turkish. We dumped the language so much that we erased so many crucial verbs. We erased or omitted so many crucial parts, important parts of the sentence. And now we speak like cavemen. Actually, we say, I Serkan, that food good, or I do roads. That's what we say. So we should change that. Here comes the solution. Turkish first, everything else later. I know each one of you wants to learn different things, wants to study different languages, different fields of, areas of study. But you should focus on Turkish first. You should learn, you should use our language properly first. Even I don't sometimes. Even I try to concentrate while I speak Turkish, improve it, to use it the proper way. So what can we do? As individuals, as I said earlier, study Turkish, learn it, focus on it, and everything else comes later. And if you use Turkish without dumbing it down, it will influence people around you. The more you speak Turkish properly, the better the chances of other people speaking Turkish properly. So it should start with you. You should start speaking Turkish properly. And as a society, we can put forward campaigns that promotes using Turkish the proper way. You know, AdWords or Facebook campaigns or I don't know, anything. We should raise awareness in our society that we are using Turkish improperly. And of course, we can let the Minister of Education know that we are having some problems in our education system as well. I'm not denying those facts. Yes, we do have some problems in our education system or in our opinion about English. We should change those as well as a society. But it starts with the individual. It starts with you. Now, that was it. As I said, it was a very simple and short presentation. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. It can be both in Turkish and English, no problem. So do you have any questions? No? None? Good. What about feedback? What do you think about it? What should be studied in more detail? Or what can be studied? We should read more. In Turkish, yes. What should we read? Yeah, what should we read? So do you think everything written in magazines or like written texts are correct Turkish? No. Yes, that's a better answer. Why? Why old classic? Why not recent or current texts? If you look over to old texts or classicals, or even now we have some TV series. Yes. Translating from another language to Turkish is not the problem. Because, let's go back. Sorry. This table, so Turkish to English, we have problem. We don't use the verb to be. But English to Turkish, when we see a mizar, we can translate it, no problem. But if you don't use it here, we can't translate it. So translations from other language to our language are better, actually. Better than our written texts. Because this is what happens. Mm-hmm. Yes, of course. I'm just saying, if we are going to read more, we should read the ones that are written in proper Turkish. And right now, currently, we don't have that many. Like, just open up a newspaper, just read a news article. And you can just, find out lots of improper uses or like incorrect uses of Turkish. That's what I'm saying. That's more correct, actually, reading old stuff. So, anything else? Yep. Yes, we should raise awareness. We should be aware. We should notice them. We should notice that something like this exists. We have that. Why don't we use it? If we know this, if we know the Turkish meaning of to be, we can do the translation perfectly. Because we know that this is emissar. This is to be. And we can put it in the target language. But if we don't, sadly, the translation process will be wrong as well. So, anything else? Anyone wants to add or ask? Let's go back. Well, if not, this concludes the presentation. This is all. Thank you for your time. And bye-bye. See you.